Discipline. How do you incorporate it into your business to make sure that you're staying on task, you're staying focused, and you're getting the work done in order to get the results? That's what I'm going to be talking about today. How are you doing, guys? It's Jamie here. I want to say a very warm welcome to you, and thanks very much for joining me in today's video. If this is the first time on the channel, welcome. My name's Jamie. I cover internet marketing, affiliate marketing, how to get started online, and pretty much all things digital. If any of that's of interest to yourself, feel free to hit the subscribe button and smash that bell icon to stay up to date with everything I'm putting out. So this question was actually raised. I'm part of a community. It's called the Super Affiliate Accelerator. I'm one of the coaches there. You're welcome to click that link below. There's a free case study, and you can work out whether that's something that might benefit your business. And if you would like to book a call, feel free to do so via that link as well. Anyway, all that being said, this question was raised. Look, I'm going through this process, but how do you maintain discipline in order to get the results that you desire? And so I thought it was a really interesting talking point, and I'm going to try and paraphrase some of the stuff that we discussed today because I think it was really important and something that could probably benefit quite a few people out there. So first and foremost, it all comes back to, in my opinion at least anyway, having a daily method of operation. Now, I'm going to discuss this probably in another video, but quite simply, the daily method of operation is when you have defined the revenue producing tasks as part of your business. So if you're in organic marketing, the way that I do on Facebook, it's quite literally, for me anyway, producing content just like this, reaching out to people, having conversations, and basically some of those people end up buying stuff. And that's pretty much it. And I've got obviously processes for that along the way. Like I say, check out the link if you're interested in learning more about how that whole thing works. Having said that, because I know what I'm doing and I have belief that what I'm doing works, and I know that I'm improving my skill set all the time with getting new knowledge and buying new programs that help align with what I'm doing, I'm confident that doing that in itself is going to produce results for me. Having said that, I know for a lot of newbies, because they haven't gone through that process of actually getting sales, it means that a lot of the time they don't have the discipline to maintain that level of traction because they have sporadic results at best, or no results at worst. And so what that tends to come back to is their belief in what they're doing, whether it's actually going to work for them. And so when that belief wavers, it's usually when they start diverting their attention elsewhere and they start buying other programs and hoping that these are the ones that are finally going to break them out of purgatory, So that's one part of the audience that I'm speaking with. The other side of it is the people that are, maybe they've made a couple of sales, so they have actually validated that it can be real for them. And this is the same process applies. Like I say, you need to have that DMO, the daily method of operation. You need to know the exact revenue producing tasks that you need to do in order to drive your business forward. And if you don't know them, then I would highly recommend you try and work out a way to simplify your business enough so that you do have those tasks in a very small format that's easy for you to do on every single day. Now, I don't necessarily mean that the tasks themselves are easy, but I mean that the actual process of getting them done is a lot easier because you've already got it mapped out what you need to do, right? So that would be the first thing. And circle back to 2011 when I first got started in the online world in affiliate marketing, and what I was trying to do was set up financial markets related blogs. And so I didn't really know what one thing I needed to do every day was in order to bring income in. So I just started writing random articles about all the knowledge that I had related to the financial markets at the time. And so there was no real clear plan behind that, and as a result, it took a long time before I ever saw any results. And I did actually make some sales back then, but not nothing like what I do now, of course. So it was because I didn't have that DMO, I didn't have the daily method of operations. That'd be my first thing to tell people. What came up in the coaching session today, and like I say, check the link to check that out. But basically, the thing that came out was having your reason for doing this stuff in the forefront of your mind, because if you don't, you're going to allow your attention to waver. If you allow your attention to waver and distract yourself, then of course you're not going to maintain focus. If you don't maintain focus, you're probably not going to keep doing the work, because you know, as Steve Jobs once said, along the lines of, it's not verbatim of course, but it was you have to be kind of crazy to do this because it's really hard. But it doesn't have to be. That's the thing. If you do have this DMO, it can actually be a lot easier because you can kind of compartmentalize a lot of the tasks into very easy to follow and easy to do steps in order to get to your goals. So anyway, DMO was the main thing. The second one is belief in what you're doing. The third one, like I say, is the why, right? So having your reason for doing it, your why, and I know it gets thrown around a lot, but quite literally, if you know that that's there, always in the forefront of your mind, and it's really powerful for you, then that's how you're going to maintain your discipline. Now, the other thing that was raised, and I think this is really interesting, is a lot of the time when we look at what our goals are and our why and stuff like that, it comes back to things that I think a lot of the time we think other people, or what we should think, basically, what other people might think that we should think. And what I mean by that is, I want to help humanity, I want to build water wells, and I want to do all this stuff, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not saying don't be altruistic, I'm not saying that at all, but maybe it's worthwhile to free your mind a little bit. Like maybe it's something, there is a material thing that you want, that you're chasing, and maybe it's actually okay for you to want that material thing as part of your goals, because maybe that's a slightly bigger driver than some of the other things that you're considering at the moment. Now, I'm not saying if you have these types of goals of either whether it's materialistic stuff or experiences or helping humanity or whatever the case may be, I'm not saying completely give up on that, but don't put that sort of societal pressure on yourself to think, oh well, this is what I should chase because everyone else tells me I should. Have that as part of your goals, of course, but do it for you. Do it to find out what really drives you, what really compels you to go and keep going no matter what, right? That's the other thing. The other topic that came up as part of this was to be mindful of where your dopamine is coming from. And so dopamine, and of course oxytocin as well, which is the chemicals that get released in your brain to go and find your happiness, right? So if you think of it like that, it's a lot easier and probably a lot more enjoyable initially to pick up your phone and look at Instagram. It's probably a lot more enjoyable to maybe even play a game or any of that stuff. And the problem with doing that is that it's like chucking heroin into a pot, and then you just get to keep that, and that's your dopamine, right? Like playing on your phone, it's like getting a massive hit of heroin comparatively, compared to like reading a book, for example. And in this sense of dopamine release, that's what I should probably clarify that, by the way. Now, the reason I say that is because if you can abstain from some of these things a little bit, like when you wake up in the morning, I know a lot of people, first thing they'll do is just go and grab their phone and start looking through Instagram or social media in general, right? And so again, that's like overloading your dopamine release right there. So if you can abstain even the first hour of the day, what that's going to do is eventually it's going to rewire your brain to look for the dopamine releases in different places. And so then you can start attaching little rewards to the tasks that you're doing that are going to propel your business forward. And that could be as simple as, there's one I heard recently from Ian Stanley. He likes to read a subreddit of like funny stuff, and he laughs because laughter releases dopamine as well. So you can have little rewards set up like that, and just be conscious of those things as well. So yeah, those things all together will help maintain your discipline. And the other thing is just forming a habit. So really interesting case in point is the start of May, I think it was. The challenge was set by, I guess, myself and a couple of people to do 100 push-ups per day. It was actually a mental health challenge thing that was available at the time. So I did that, but then I'd gotten the habit of doing push-ups, so I didn't really want to let it go. So then the next month we added abdominal work. So in June we were doing I had to average 50 push-ups, and I think it was like 100 sit-ups or something like that, and 2 minutes or 3 minutes plank, sorry, as part of that. And so, okay, cool, well that's done now. So what are we going to do? So July, now we added something else. As part of that, the other thing I've been doing for a long time now, maybe 3 months I think, is every morning without fail I'll have a cold shower, even if it's just a minute or something like that. And it's one of those things where I've now been doing it long enough that even if I wanted to, I couldn't stop. Like, I don't want to break that chain, which is kind of a powerful thing, because now I know, because I don't love doing it, of course, who loves the freezing cold water, but it trains your mind to go, okay, I'm going to control my breath. I have the discipline to actually do this one little task, because that way, if you can do that one little task, you can do those 100 push-ups in the morning, whatever it is, you can do X, Y, Z, then of course that's going to roll into the other parts of your life, right? So really, really powerful stuff. One more thing I'm going to say about this one. This is something that I was also doing some time ago, and it's something that I got from Jerry Seinfeld. And one of the story behind this one is actually pretty cool. But essentially, when he was quite at the peak of his fame, basically, and he was absolutely smashing it with the Seinfeld show and things like that, this junior comic came up to him. He's like, Jerry, how do you come up with all these jokes, man? Like, this is crazy. And he said, look, when I first got started, it wasn't like, of course I was up and coming. And so what he would do is, he had a big wall calendar, and it had obviously the dates on it and everything like that. And so his goal was to write a new joke each and every day. And so of course he'd write a new joke, and then every day that he'd do that, he'd cross it off the calendar. And so then eventually it became this thing where he didn't want to break that chain, because he'd been doing it for so long. And so then all of a sudden he goes through his calendar, he's got all these crosses of where he's crossed out these days. So anyway, why do I say that? Because that's another thing that you can implement. If you're struggling with discipline, how many days in a row are you reaching out to people? Are you asking the buying question of whether they would like to be part of your opportunity? How many days in a row are you producing a YouTube video, for example? Not every day in some people's case, but anyway, that's not my primary goal, by the way. How many days in a row are you doing X, Y, Z? And having that there, like I say, the byproduct of doing it long enough is that the habit gets formed, and then you can't break it. Like, you don't want to stop, because you actually kind of enjoy the process of doing it, so to speak. And even long time ago, final story, I appreciate your patience here, guys, but final story, long time ago, I used to do this funny little push-up challenge, and it was like, I would go bang, 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 and do 10 push-ups, hold at the top for 10 seconds, kind of like a little plank, 8, hold for 8, 6, hold for 6, 4, hold for 4, 2, 1, and then try and build my way back up. And so it put a lot of pressure on your body after a while, and then I could do it. By the end of it, it was fine. But then it got to this point where I was doing it for so long, and I'm talking like maybe 6 months straight, every single day. I didn't miss it in a day, even in spite of injury and stuff like that. It was kind of crazy, but I just couldn't break that chain. And then eventually one day, even when I was like just about to go to sleep, I'm thinking, oh, something's missing in my day. What am I doing? And I get up in the middle of the night and just beside the bed and trying not to breathe heavily. It's like while I'm smashing out my push-ups. It probably looked really weird. And then eventually, I can't even remember what happened. I think like maybe I just forgot. Woke up in the morning, I'm like, oh man, like after it was like felt like I just like was so disappointed, because I let myself down. I didn't mean to, and I'd broken the chain. So form those habits. Concentrate on your why. Break down it into a daily method of operation, and you know categorically what your revenue producing tasks are in your business. And you'll find that you'll probably do pretty well just off those. And then, like I say, once you form that habit, it just becomes a lot easier, because then it is just a habit. It's just a habit that you cannot break after a while, and it becomes quite enjoyable as well. And like I say, the dopamine, you find that gets released in different ways all of a sudden, because you find the challenge of doing this stuff is actually a lot more enjoyable than it used to be, because you've associated that dopamine release with the thing that's going to propel your business forward. All right. So anyway, I've been rambling on long enough. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you tuning in. Like I say, check out that link below if you like the free case study, and feel free to lock in a time if you'd like to consider working with myself.